Does your partner's bad mood seem to drain all of the joy out of your relationship? Or maybe it just zaps the energy out of you and influences your own mood or gives you a bad day? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about not only ways to survive your man's grumpy moods, but also thrive. Hi everyone, Nicole here, relationship coach, and I wanted to record this video based on a comment I got on one of my previous videos about what to do when your partner is moody, grumpy, or depressed. I'll link to it here. And the viewer was basically sharing that she felt like it was annoying when her partner was in a bad mood because she felt responsible to helping him out of it. But when it was the other way around, she didn't feel like she was getting kind of the same type of treatment, right? Like it's expected of women to help their men out of the bad mood, but women are expected to just snap out of their bad moods on their own. So this is something that really played out in my own relationship with my husband. We are two moody people, so we can get really, entangled, enmeshed in our own emotions and feelings a lot of the time. And this is something that the more I worked on this and the more I continue to work on this, the stronger our relationship becomes and the better we are at navigating our moods and not letting it really drain our energy, ruin our days, or even ruin our relationship. Because when we weren't managing our emotion, we really felt the resentment starting to build up in our relationship. We started getting more short with one another. It felt like every small thing was turning into an argument, and we were just fighting more and more. So if you can relate to some of this, you're definitely going to want to watch this video. The first thing I encourage you to remember, and what really helped me in my own relationship, was to remember that your partner's grumpiness is not your responsibility. Everyone has bad days, even your partner. And you know what? I always tell women, the more you can give flexibility and grace to your partner, the more you're giving the same to yourself. Like now, I'm not saying to tolerate bad behavior all the time, but you know what? I just think about myself and how I am. And like I shared a bit earlier, I tend to be very emotional, moody myself. So by not allowing my partner or not empathizing with my partner in that respect, I'm putting pressure on myself to really contain and manage my emotions. And then whenever he was grumpy, it was like a huge sigh of relief for myself because I was like, okay, that means sometimes I can be grumpy too. Your partner's mood is a reflection of what's going on within themselves, not about you. So a lot of times we tend to take this personally, and I know I felt that way. And when I started removing myself from that and not taking it so personally when it came to his moods, I was able to navigate when he was grumpy, when he was sarcastic, when he was being short with me or terse. I was able to handle that a lot better. The other thing you'll want to do if you find your man to be moody or grumpy is to really set boundaries. And I don't mean external boundaries where you're telling your partner basically like, if you're grumpy, I'm just going to run away. But I mean internal boundaries. So maybe you're thinking that, but you're not saying it out loud and you are following through on the boundary just yourself. So when I really started working on this, one of the things I started doing was if I was feeling really emotionally drained by my partner's mood or grumpiness, or him being really depressed about something, I would call up a friend. I would go for a walk. I would do something for myself. I would remove myself from the situation, or maybe I'd stick around in a way, but I'd do something that would make me really happy. I would really dive into the self-care, maybe take a bath, maybe read a book, maybe really work on my personal development or journal in that moment, or find ways to, even if his mood was starting to permeate on me and I started really absorbing it, I would start doing things that would help me release all that energy. Your needs and your happiness matter too. So don't sacrifice that just to help your partner get out of his grumpiness. Men like to solve problems. Let your man get out of his mood himself and just be there to support him, or if he needs space, give him that space in a loving way. And a bit earlier, I mentioned the whole idea of managing emotions. And one of the things I want to highlight here is it's not necessarily about managing the emotion itself, but managing your reaction and your response. So you're really going to want to look at, as you're doing your self-care, maybe you're journaling, maybe you're just taking time and meditating. One of the things to explore within yourself is to really look at these reactions that you're having to your partner's grumpiness, and how can you work on that in a way that is supportive to your partner and also honors you. All right, I'm getting deep there, but for the purpose of this video, let's keep moving on. Another way to support your partner through his moodiness moodiness or his grumpiness is to communicate. And I don't necessarily mean trying to get him to talk it through. That's a very feminine energy approach. We like to talk through our problems. Men like to work things out, but it is okay to kind of bring it up and kind of express maybe what you need. But I would encourage you to do that very delicately. I know for myself, the only time I would communicate with my spouse in terms of his moodiness is if he was taking it out on me. Like if I noticed that I was like the target of his grumpiness and like the punching bag, proverbial punching bag, that he would take it out on, then I would bring it up. Like I remember an example of a time where it seemed like over the course of a week, my husband was being particularly sarcastic with me. And he's sarcastic by nature. That's how he likes to joke around and is part of his sense of humor. But I could feel there was some sort of undercurrent, something that was really bothering him that he wasn't expressing to me. And every now and then it felt like he was taking it out on me with these comments. Now, although I said earlier not to take everything personally, I did notice after an amount of time, this kept happening. And so I decided to address it very gently and softly with him. And by soft, I don't mean like all weakly and quietly. I mean in a way that was non-accusatory and a way in which he could hear me. And then it turns out that he didn't even realize that he was being sarcastic towards me all those times. He was so caught up in what was going on in the situation that was bothering him that he didn't realize that he was subconsciously, unintentionally taking it out on me in that way. So if you do find that it is becoming a problem and it is a little bit targeted towards you, it is okay to say something, but be very mindful about the way in which you say it. Lastly, empathy is going to be key in these situations. Try to understand what might be causing your partner to be grumpy. Are they stressed out at work? Is there a situation with the kids? What could be bothering your partner? Showing empathy and just acknowledging what they might be going through is a great way to support them and help them get out of it. Even though it's not your responsibility to pull them out of their grumpiness, if you really love someone, you're just going to want to offer them the opportunity to help them in any way that you can. So my favorite way to do this is just by showing compassion, being empathetic. Maybe at the end of the day, they just need to vent, or maybe they just need to know that you are there, you accept them, and that you trust that they're going to get out of it. Maybe at this point, you remind them who they are. Maybe you remind them that they've gotten out of like crazy situations in the past and that you believe in them. Remember, a healthy relationship requires mutual support, but at the same time, it's not all on you to pull your partner out of this hole that they might be in of negativity or grumpiness. Surviving a grumpy partner is possible. And by showing understanding, communicating, and taking care of yourself, you can recharge and even thrive in this relationship. It's not about fixing your partner. It's about finding ways to navigate your grumpy partner's moods together. All right. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I will get back to you or maybe record another video. If you would like some personal support because maybe you've tried some of these things and they're just not sticking or working in your particular situation, click on the link in the description and we can have a chat. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.